the sentence in file number 23444SD, People versus Taylor Ray Combs. That's you?
Yes, sir.
And you're here with your lawyer, Mr. Luke Knopfsinger. This incident occurred in January of 2023. They didn't issue the warrant until February of 23, and you didn't get arrested until July of 23. You had an earlier case from April of 22. So this fact situation happened almost a year ago. This was an accident at 131 in Moore Park Road where you were intoxicated and the guy that you hit was also intoxicated. At the intersection of Moore Park and 131, which is a bad intersection. And now that the highway has been redone, you can't cross there anymore, which has new problems, trying to figure out where the turnaround is. But as I've said many times, all those intersections on 131 are very dangerous. This matter was set for a little while ago, but your lawyer was unavailable that day, so we rescheduled. You were here. And I said I really wanted to get you into the sobriety court program. Although I have to say I'm disappointed because I don't believe you've done anything between last January and now. But let's see what we can figure out. Luke, what would you like me to know?
Just a couple things, Judge. And well, she has provided me with some verified dates for AA attendance.
I'd like to see that.
Yes.
Her sister told me she tried to get her to go to AA with her and she wouldn't come.
Oh, that's me.
What?
She was trying to get her sister to go with her.
No, your sister told me she tried to get you to come to AA with her in Three Rivers. And you didn't want to go. I'm not real impressed. In 1 year, you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 AA meetings. But we've got to start somewhere. All right, Luke. Luke's on our sobriety court team, and he's very good at this. And we've been discussing your case since last January after this happened, saying we'd like to get this girl into sobriety court. She needs help. And for a combination of reasons, maybe not since January, but since July. Luke, with that in mind, what would you like me to know?
Well, yeah, I think that Dan laid out, kind of the way it is. You look at Mrs. Combs' criminal history, all alcohol related. She's 25 years old. She's going to be starting a job here on Thursday. There are some issues that we'll have to talk in the sobriety court context. I think that she is a good candidate. Quite frankly, Judge, some of the things that are in the report are not surprising to me, knowing that there may be a hereditary factor in terms of the alcoholism.
Could you bring the Kleenexes over there?
But I'm not surprised to read some of those things just being involved in alternative courts where there is minimization, where there's obfuscation. There are these different things. She's a young woman. This is really take alcohol out of the picture, and she would have no criminal history.
Yes.
It may be something that she went through the initial probation, but for many that's not enough. When it is a disease such as hers, when she's drinking a pretty significant amount daily, she did report that. So I think that there's some honesty involved. I think she's, and reflected the report, embarrassed. She wants to take care of it. I think it's also a family issue which I think provides some uniqueness too, but I think that sobriety court is a very good option for her. I think she needs an intensive probation. Yes, the case facts are not good, as they often are, but I do think that, and I would ask the court to adopt the recommendation. The one thing I do sort of struggle with, and this is more broadly is there's a significant, it's recommended there be a significant amount of jail time. I can understand that. It's pursuant to the guidelines, and that's good and fine. The jail time to be scheduled up front, and in part the delay is due to myself and other factors. But I would ask the court to consider that, whether or not that is necessary or not, if that time can be then lumped into the deferred time. With that being said, Judge, I would ask the court to adopt the recommendation.
All right, 1 second before we came in here, Daniel advised me that Ms. Combs has an open warrant for her arrest.
There is, Judge, yeah.
And if I knew about it, I forgot about it.
Would it be possible to have her arraigned today in a bond set?
Yes. It's alleged in file 232072 that on October 1st, you were drunk and you assaulted your mother, Sherry Sedlaric, in Colon. And the police were called, and your mother indicated she didn't want you to be charged, but that's not up to your mother, it's up to the county. And she said you punched her in the head 3 times, pushed her in the chest, punched her on the left eye, and got her to the ground. She is usually aggressive when she consumes alcohol. Taylor said she came home from a night out. So as recently as October 1st, you were still actively out drinking. Sherry said she did not want to press charges, but she didn't want her to come back home until she was sober. So you're still struggling. And you're not doing anything about it. You made some pale attempt at going to AA 5 times in 6 months. You're still actively drinking, going out. One concern I have is that sometimes when people are young, they are ready to get sober. You have it bad. You have a probable genetic predisposition to alcoholism, and your life is going to be a horrible mess, unhappy mess if you stay on the path you're on. You'll either end up in prison or dead, or looking like you're about 75 when you're about 35. I've seen it over and over again since I've been here. People squandering their youth, and you're not evil, but you're also not being honest. You have, and Daniel and I, and we've all talked about this, it might be a function of the times we're living in, but every week I see people that are more and more screwed up. Maybe it's the stress of the way we live. Maybe it's the pace at which we live, the stressors people under from social media life. But I see people drinking more and more and being more and more harmful to themselves. This is hard. This is real hard. You're going to have to either get with a program. I'm contemplating, the recommendation is 122 days in jail. I'm contemplating just doing 180 days in jail and calling it good. And you could get out sometime next spring and I won't be on your back because you're not going to like me being on your back. You will at some point, but you haven't done anything to deal with this until you got to me. And then I'm going to either make you deal with it or just put you in jail. And Daniel spent a lot of time on this, and we've discussed it at our staffing sessions of sobriety court. And the unanimous opinion is this girl needs help. Daniel, what's your thought?
Well, Your Honor, a few things here. One of the reasons why I think that and I actually think I was a little conservative on the jail is because I had Miss Combs before, as we mentioned, and it was only, 2 months afterwards that she got this new charge, but it's been, almost a year now. She has done a lot of, oh, I was in a bad situation, bad timing, a lot of excuse making. I don't think she's really ready for sobriety court, but she needs sobriety court. I think she needs a little wake up call. And I think those days in jail are going to be a way to help motivate her. When I was speaking with her, she still, she can talk about stuff with her family or stuff that's going on with her sister and how that's so bad, including the health issues. But then she mitigates everything and makes it more about them. And she's not really able to look in that mirror and say, hey, I got an issue I got to take care of. So I think the jail is an important part of this to kind of shake her. I know she hates the jail, and maybe that'll be a little bit more of a wake up to let her know that this is real and this is serious and this is something she needs to deal with now. I also know there is a new charge. This happened as a result. She went over to her sister's house and they got in an argument. When I had her on her last probation, she talked about a lot of arguments with her sister and her mother. I think it's probably alcohol related, but I think she may have an issue. And I'm hoping that with this new charge, if it does go through, maybe some anger management in conjunction with a sobriety court would help her as well. I don't really know what's going on there. She's really young and she's really not talking about a lot of stuff. But she definitely has some issues she's got to work on. I think there's an underlying anger issue, which, as you know, can be related to the alcohol. But that's why I asked for the days up front in this. And if we do deal with the DV going down the road, I'm hoping that maybe they'll consider something like a deferral with an anger management program to help her with some of the other stuff that's going on. She's got a lot of stuff going on for someone 25 years old.
Yes. Would you come forward, please, to the podium? Are you Sherry Sedlarick?
Yeah.
And you're Taylor's mother?
Yeah.
What would you like me to know?
I just wanted to say that before all this happened with Taylor, she's never been in any trouble or anything. She's been a great child. And I know she suppressed a lot of stuff from her older sister that she hadn't dealt with long, unfortunately, with some abuse that she'd went through with her dad in childhood and through a divorce. And I'm just, so for her, it's like, she didn't even drink. She went from someone that didn't even drink to drinking in 1 year, wiped herself out. But she's a good kid. She has strong faith in God. And I could tell that there at the end, I was losing her, spiritually speaking. And I just feel like she's been through a lot and she's just not dealt with it. And she don't need to be punished. She's been punished herself very well, very depressed. But I just want my daughter to get help. This is all I've wanted ever. I tried in that year of her spiraling, because that's what she did. She just, spiraled. She hasn't even went to bars and partied like most other young kids have done.
Well, apparently she did on October 1st.
Yeah, but I'm saying, up until then, she was just had a boyfriend, stayed home. They didn't even go out and party.
Well, you don't have to go out and party, and you're right.
Yeah.
This has been a pretty rapid spiral. It started with a MIP and then a bad drunk driving, and then she got off probation and got another drunk driving. While she was on bond, she got charged with assaulting you while she was drunk. Some of it is a physiological predisposition to alcoholism.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle alcohol, and I think Taylor is one of them.
Oh, definitely.
So to say you can't ever drink again is an awful big pill for a 25-year-old to swallow. And I'm sure you're concerned about her and that you want help for her.
I just want you to see that before all this, she has been one of my best kids. And when she would have problems, she would come to me and say, Mom, can we pray? And out of all my kids, she's been the one that's been most spiritual. And then I don't know. She said something like, all of a sudden she decided, well, before I really settle down, I think I want to party some. And
Well, that's
she made
common
that
for-
decision.
Well,
and
then this night, someone almost got killed at the intersection of 131 and Moore Park, maybe two people. I can think of a number of cases since I've been here where two drunk drivers have hit each
Yeah.
other. Sixth Avenue, Haynes Road and M60, two drunk drivers hit each other and both were killed. The Big Hill and Constantine, two drunk drivers hit each other, or one hit the other, and they were both over 2-1 and they were both killed. Probably a few more I can think of where this happened. Well, let's hear from Taylor. Thank you, Ms. Sedlar, for being here. I'd hope the prosecutor would be here and offer some input here, but we don't have anybody. So, Ms. Combs, what do you want to tell me?
Sure, I know that it looks bad, the things that I've done. And I have had a really tough time the past, I'd say, year and a half. This happened so long ago, and I feel like every day I've been dealing with it, the accident. And I'm ready to do what I have to do. And, I made the mistake I made. And I don't know. I don't want you to think that I haven't been trying, because I have. And
What have you been doing?
every day with my mental being, I try my best to stay positive, and to me that's the most right now. That means I haven't been drinking that night. I did, and I haven't since, and I'm proud of myself for that. I don't have a desire to drink. I don't know why I did things that I did. I wasn't under the right.
Well, don't say too much more about that one because that one's still pending, but I appreciate your candor. Why haven't you been going to AA?
Well, throughout this time of like my accident and everything, I was moving apartments. We moved to 1 and 3 Rivers, Stonecrest, I believe. The whole place was infested.
Where's that one? The one down on,
Right by the Bowman House in 3 Rivers.
oh, yes, on Elm Street?
Yeah, and we moved everything in there. Me and my boyfriend, we lost everything.
Once upon a time, that was a nice little apartment complex.
It
but
was,
it's-
that's what we thought.
Well,
So,
it's fallen on hard times. Probably not much has been done to it. Who's your boyfriend?
Andrew Bowers.
And how is he with all this?
Um, he's supportive. I mean, I would say if he's still with me, I mean, we love each other and we care about each other. I try and help him as much as he helps me, I think.
What does he do?
He frames houses and he does docks,
Who does he work for?
meal burgers.
Okay, and so he also does Mealburger dock. He probably did my dock.
Yes, I believe so. Sorry.
All right,
Transportation's been an issue.
well, it's going to be.
No, I mean, when she was with me, she was going to AA faithfully because she had weight.
Well,
And
she
then when
went
she
a few times.
moved,
All right,
I wanted to take her.
you're gonna have transportation problems. You're gonna lose your driver's license, and I don't know whether you're eligible to get a driver's license with an interlock device. You have places you have to be. You have to test at the day reporting center. You have to go there and pee in front of somebody regularly. You have to go to AA meetings. If you're on track with everything, you can appear for my hearings by Zoom. You can also go to our support group through Spencer Price by Zoom. But you can also have to get to counseling. You're gonna have to do community service. this entails several things. Group, support group like AA, NA, or Celebrate Recovery. Individual counseling, you have a lot of baggage that you need to set down. And you're gonna need to meet with a counselor and sincerely work on that baggage. You're going to need to be part of our support group that we have, that I pay for sobriety court. You're gonna have to do community service, and you're gonna have to meet your court obligations. So you have places to be. Where are you living right now?
Fifth Street.
Fifth Avenue. All right, you told me one of those
Um,
duplexes.
Yeah, so, I'm fairly close to the
Well,
day reporting
Yeah,
center, correct?
you could walk to the day
Yeah,
reporting
so,
center from there.
That's what I've been thinking. Celebrate Recovery. I'm fairly close to that. So those are things that I know that if I have to, I will walk to. The job that I'm trying to get, it's right downtown as well.
Which job is that?
It's a dispensary, daily dope.
All right, now, some of those dispensaries pay quite well. You can't smoke weed while you're on this probation. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I do have my medical card.
well, we'll discuss that. So you have a medical card?
Yeah, Judge, it is valid. It's one of the things we may have to discuss in staffing.
Um,
I think, I don't know if you saw that, but she's also on a Presolam
yeah,
to help with some of the anxiety, so
yeah, I didn't want
I'm
to
not
get
sure
into
what the
that.
marijuana is addressing. But we'll have to staff on that.
My psychiatrist, he knows that I have my medical and my,
All right, we're gonna have to get into this. This is hard, and I'm not sure you're ready to do it, and I'm tempted to just give you 180 days right now and let you live your life when I get out, when you get out. But I'm willing to try this. I don't think you know how hard this is. Although, and this isn't gonna be about your sister, it's gonna be about you. And in her case, it's a matter of life and death. And in your case, it's a matter of life and death. You're just not quite as far down the path. This is a matter of life and death. You could have been walking to Celebrate Recovery since July. So you aren't ready to do this until somebody like me makes you do it. And sometimes that's what it takes. What book do you have with you?
well, this is the book that I had from the AA meetings that I was going to.
Can I see it?
That's why I wasn't going in July to Celebrate Recovery. I was been going mostly with my mom.
All right, you got the 12-step book. That's a good
And
start.
I have, I have another,
Okay. We had several problems with this. There was an earlier date that got adjourned because Luke was on vacation and then he had this medical problem. So some of this delay isn't your fault. Um, Did we ever actually take the plea?
I had down that we had to do the plea yet, but
This is a plea and sentence. We never actually did the plea. Luke was on vacation. Then we had the medical delay, and so I was looking for the. I was aware of this. Deborah asked for a bond violation on October 3rd for the October 1st incident. But so it's up there. I was aware of it. And it started on Judge Patterson's docket. And it got moved to mine. So a lot of this stuff was in front of Judge Pattison. So it was set for a plea in front of me on October 19th, but we've never actually entered the plea. And I'm trying to find something that tells me what the plea agreement was. And I don't have a prosecutor here. It shows a plea to operating while intoxicated. Second offense. Is that what we're doing here, Luke?
That's the last offer that I had.
All right. Well, let's talk about that, Taylor. It's alleged that on or about January 6th of 2023, you were driving a car, I think that's Park Township here in St. Joe County, 131 on Moore Park Road, while you were intoxicated. They took your blood and they sent it to the State Police Crime Laboratory. It came back as 0.13. And you had a previous offense within 7 years from 2022. That makes that a second offense. Operating while intoxicated, second offense is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Carries 6 points on your driving record, and it requires that your license be suspended. Do you understand? You have to speak your answer.
Yes, sir.
Did anyone threaten you to get you to plead to this?
No, sir.
Or promise you anything?
No.
To understand that if you do plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury. Do you understand? It won't be a trial. You have to speak your answer.
Yes, sir.
All right. We had a trial set and it got moved because we thought there was going to be a plea. All right. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Luke Knopfsinger is here. He's been appointed to represent you, and he would represent you at a trial if we had one. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand yourself and testify, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And are you going to plead guilty to operating while intoxicated? Second offense.
Yes, sir.
All right, now let's talk about this because the police report is real hard to get to. Were you driving a car on January 6th of last year
Yes, sir.
out on 131 near Moore Park Road? Is that true?
Yes.
At that time, were you living on Ferguson Road?
Yes.
Where were you going?
It's my sisters.
All right, and that would be Rebecca's? Is this where she had the leftovers for you? All right, where were you coming from?
My house on Ferguson.
All right, what had you been drinking?
I believe it had to either have been vodka or whiskey.
And your boyfriend was with you?
No,
He's listed on here as a witness.
He showed up. His parents live, on Compliment Lake Road.
Okay,
I think, he heard it or somebody in my family called him.
all right. So you were headed northbound on 131
Yes.
and you were gonna turn onto Moore Park Road.
No, I was leaving Moore Park Road, heading toward, guess you'd say Wilbur.
All right, so you'd already been at your sister's house?
Yes.
Did you drink anything while you were there?
No.
All right, I had it backwards. And then you had a collision with this guy that was driving down 131.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, he also got arrested. They took your blood and it was a 0.13. Will you accept that?
What was
Your
that?
blood alcohol was a 0.13. Do you accept that?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. His was, I believe, a 0.15. Yes, he was a 0.15. So if you add them together, you get 0.28. Now, one thing they did not do is he went to the hospital in an ambulance. Of course, so did you. Operating while intoxicated, causing a serious injury is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And he went in an ambulance and they didn't charge you with that. So you're about this close to being charged with a felony drinking driving offense. You also had broken ribs and a broken leg, but it has to do with the injuries of other people. I don't know what the extent of his injuries were, but they didn't charge you. A hospital ride in an ambulance generally indicates a serious injury. Anyway, the scary thing is that you were at the point in your life where you could drink vodka and whiskey and think you could just drive to your sister's house just like anything and get what she had for you and then turn on and drive home. And you couldn't. Well, I'll accept your plea. And let's go back to Daniel's recommendation. Luke's arguing for no upfront jail. Daniel thinks that you need a wake-up call. You want to split the difference.
And I also think I based it also on the statute for the second.
Yes, it carries 5 minimum days. It's required. I'm going to do a 24-month probation. Sentenced to 180 days in jail. Credit 2, leaving 178 days to do. I have to order at least 5 days under the statute. So the 180 days, 175 are deferred, 3 days to do. To be scheduled by the probation department. You got enough money to pay. I'm going to take the fine out of here. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee. I'm going to cut the screening fee in half to $50. There's a Spencer Price or a pivotal report in here. There's an attorney fee of $150. $960 probation oversight fee. You can do this in 1 year. And if you do, you'll save $480. Was there a police reimbursement?
Yes, 255 St. Joseph County Sheriff.
Police did a nice job on this case. Let's add that up. 75, 50, 150, 960, 255 is $1,490. That could be reduced to about $1,000. There's also other costs. You're gonna have to pay the cost of some of the testing, but you're gonna be in sobriety court. You abstain from alcohol and any controlled substances unless it's prescribed. We're gonna discuss your status of your medical marijuana. It's generally not a good plan to mix prescription medications and marijuana and certainly alcohol. So the point of fact is you were also under the influence of marijuana at the time this happened and on prescription medication, which makes it even scarier. I do not have any bond money. There was a surety bond, I think. Who posted your bond? You had to put bond up with a bonding company. Did somebody, your parents or your boyfriend give you the money?
My boyfriend, Andrew.
Okay. And Daniel, I can't claim I didn't know about the other case because Debbie Davis told me about it within 2 days of the time it happened, but there's never been any consequence for it. It's a violation of bond in this case, but she hasn't been arraigned on it. Ms. Combs, it is alleged that on or about October 1st of 2023, that you assaulted Sherry Sedlaric in the village of Colon. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. You're going to go to jail. Or the court officer is going to take you to jail and the magistrate's going to set your bond and you're going to get mugshotted and fingerprinted on a domestic assault charge. If you get convicted of domestic assault, you won't be able to use or possess a firearm. I don't know that you need to be on 2 probations, but there is a kind of probation that could take this off your record, or the prosecutor may decide, since your mother doesn't want to press charges and you're already on a probation, they could decide what to do with it, but you don't get a freebie. You're going to jail on that charge and you're going to get processed and they'll set a bond. Yeah, it's not up to you. If you were dead, you don't get to say, hey, I don't want to press charges. It's the people of the state of Michigan versus Taylor Combs, not Sherry Sedlaric. So you can go give them your input while you're here. They're probably at lunch now, but and I didn't have a prosecutor here to help. I'm not sure what their circumstance is. At any rate, I'm going to see you next Tuesday at sobriety court. You're going to be here live. And then we're going to start this process of trying to get you situated. When you get out of jail, which will probably be later this afternoon, I want you to come back here and see Daniel. Or if it's tomorrow, I want you to see him. And that, if she ends up doing jail time, it could count as the 3 days for this. But as I said, you don't get a free pass for that. You're going to get booked in like everybody else. I'll hold on to this AA thing. Daniel, you can make this part of the probation file. Taylor, I'm going to see a lot of you, and I'm going to see you every 2 weeks, and I'm going to be all in your business. But it's not because I'm mad. It's because I don't want you to have a life of despair. All right, I'll see you Tuesday. And I said, Larry, you can stop at the prosecutors anyway and let them know, get your information. Just as interesting, what happened to this other guy, Michael Muscala.
I did go there once.
All right, then they've got your information.
So do I need to go yet?
No, they know where you are. All right.
Yeah, you want to get ready for?
Just